Well, I hope you all had a chance to listen to my last podcast where I am talking about how I got engaged. And this is a continuation, so let's just jump right in. Don't forget to subscribe. Send this to somebody who's discouraged because, yes, there is hope. Hope doesn't change. Discouragement happens in dating. I know, trust me. But there are great stories out there, so let this be inspiring to someone. Go listen to the last podcast, and then let's finish with some of these questions. Now, these are all questions that you guys asked me after I got engaged. So we are now moving on to the next question. How did you know he was the one? What were the green flags? Okay. So I love that word green flags. The listener wrote that in her question. Well, I have some podcasts you should go listen to. Podcast number 50 and podcast number 5. Number 5 is for you ladies specific. It is the 4 things you should look for in a man. I'm going to go over them real fast. Effort. Number 1, effort. Always effort. His effort is everything. I don't care if he's hot. I don't care if his sex is good with him. If he can't show up to help you fix your broken pipes, skip. Hard pass, right? If he's not a man of his word, hard pass. His effort is everything. If he can't make it happen, a man who loves you will make it happen. Period. So number 1, effort. Number 2 is, does he make you laugh? Do you enjoy life with him? Like, you're doing life together, guys. Most of my listeners are post-divorced. Some of you are not. Some of you are, you're that young entrepreneur who can't wait to get married. Like, my perspective is I was the entrepreneur whose company failed, and that's all right because we learn. And now I am 2 companies having a merger. So this marriage is a merger. And it should be, because we're a lot smarter in a merger than just being believer entrepreneurs. So how did I know he was the one? So listen to podcast 5, ladies, and listen to podcast 50. These are signs, 12 signs of a good man. Good man, not the nice guy. And, not these alpha males, alpha assholes that I call them. You want the alpha awesome. You want the man who is a good man. He's not always the hottest guy. He might have a little belly. He might be shorter than what you have on your list. Chuck the list and follow for the good man. So he just has these qualities. Go listen to those podcasts. This is him. This is, our reality worked out. And then chemistry was great. Chemistry was number 4 on that list, ladies. And guys, if you are that good guy, keep doing what you're doing. There are amazing women out there and they are looking for you. I'm trying to get them on the track of, I understand a lot of you guys have bad photos. Go listen to my podcast on that, like how to get good photos. It's like podcast 20. So I'm like, no. Online dating photos, do's and don'ts for him. Podcast 13. It's that important. Because they're swiping no on you because your pictures are jank. So go get good photos. And take my course, Style Yourself Confident, so she can be turned on by you. And then, so those are the green flags. Go listen to those podcasts. I talk about them, and that is, based after my man. One of the guys asked me, how much effort is too much effort, Katy? So here's my truth on that. A lot of you men are putting in effort to women who aren't really ready. They're not not financially, but they're not ready because they're too busy with their kids. They're not mentally ready because they're just heartbroken and they're still just kind of like the emotions, and mentally they're bitter. So you are putting too much effort into someone who is not mirroring that effort back. And that's the rule. If she does not mirror that effort back, if she's not communicating, if she is not opening her heart to you, if she is not being vulnerable eventually, and not on a first date, but if she's not being vulnerable eventually, then she's not ready. So maybe it's the timing, whatever, move on. So don't put so much effort in that you're not receiving it back. All right, moving on. And also, guys, something that I had to figure out, I had to work through, am I settling on him? Because there is so many choices. And I mean, I have dated a plethora of men, teachers to uber rich guys. And you have to wonder sometimes, which is the right one? Am I settling? Could I get better? Those questions are normal. Those are good questions to ask so you can get really grounded in your truth of why you're picking somebody, because love is a choice. Okay, love is not a feeling. It's a choice. I'm going to say it again. Love is not chemistry. Love is a choice. So go listen to my podcast 58 on settling. I had to work through, is he the one? How did I know? And that was a really good process for me. How old are both of you, and were you guys married before? So I am 47. He is 9 years older. I believe in the 10-year gap. Even more so, I believe in having the same picture frame. And his children are just about the same age as my children. So we're in the same picture frame in life. Like, our lifestyle is the same right now. Our kids are going through the same thing. I never wanted to date a guy with little kids. Was not what I was looking for. So we're in that same season of life, and that just makes sense to me. And he looks young. Like, he's got a young look. We are really cute together. If you've seen the pictures, we're adorable. Everybody be like, you guys are so adorable. We are. I just hope we don't start to look like brother and sister. You know how that happens in couples? Yikes. How old are both of you? And so he's 9 years older. And yes, he was married almost like 17 years, I think. I don't know. So he put in the time. He learned a lot. He even says there are things he could have done way better in his marriage. So that's good. Good EQ to notice that. I was married for 10 and a half years. So, and I was divorced for many, many, many years, probably like 8 years until I met him. I remember thinking, I'll be married in 5 years. Yeah, that didn't happen. And it's good because I got to spend the time with my kids. I raised my kids. I enjoyed that season. And now it's my new season. So the question was, how did you co-parent your kids? We don't really need to co-parent. He's always been I'm more parenting. I'm very much into parenting. If you have not realized that, I got to do more podcasts on parenting. People have asked. I got to write a whole book, How to Be a Badass Single Mom. Because you can be, and single, you don't even have to be single. But so co-parenting, I give him a lot of advice, which I know can sometimes overwhelm him. He's more the engineering mind, and but I'm so into parenting that it's really important for me to see him be a good father. As a matter of fact, it's really attractive when someone's a good parent, and you guys have seen that before. I'm sure you've dated someone who's a good parent and a bad parent, and it's kind of a make or break. There was a moment where he was spending a lot of time with me, and I said, you're spending too much time with me, and I don't see you spending enough time with your kids. And we actually broke up. I wasn't being mean. This wasn't, I don't like you. This is, go have a season and learn to be with your kids more. So that was so important to me that I was like, if you can't do that, then this can't go further. And I saw a huge change in him, really trying to put in the effort. And so a couple months later, we did get back together. All right. So next question, did you live with him? And do you go to church with him? So I like these two questions together. So during our dating phases, I was involved in a big church, but not really involved. It was one of those walk-in, walk-outs. Love the church message. So just kind of a Sunday Christian. I've been a Christian all my life. I mean, deep in missionary, pastor's wife. So I wasn't really strong, nor was he. So we'd do the walk-in, walk-out, but really no accountability, which in the Christian faith, if you are going to church, you should be accountable to someone, because otherwise, how's anybody going to know you're sinning and not living for God? So it wasn't really great, and we weren't really plugged in anywhere, and that is a game changer, because we are now plugged in and we love it. But the problem is we're plugged into two churches in different states, and we love them both. So, but no, I never did live with him, nor would I ever live with a man. My kids knew that marriage was the end game, and that is God's best for relationships. Super committed, married, even though we've all made mistakes and gotten divorced. And even my kids and I, we've had conversations on that. Like, well, you messed up, Mom. And like, why should we have to, do what you did? And I said, it's because God's way is better. I'm human, and we messed it up. So I would never live with a man. Just I never want to see. I've seen some friends go in and out of different guys' houses with their kids. And it's just, ladies, you got to get on your own 2 feet. You got to own your own finances. You always pay your own bills. You don't pay for trips. If you're struggling to pay your own bills, you not ever think that you have to pay for a trip with a man. So, which leads to the next question. How do you know about his finances, and how do you guys work through your finances now? So I've done a couple podcasts on finances, guys. Podcast 46 and 47 is on finances, and how, in a world of dating and post-divorce and, boss babes and single moms who are struggling, how does that play out in dating? So you do kind of need to understand their finances, and also, their income. I dated a teacher. He's obviously not going to take me to the Four Seasons. We went camping together, but I want to go to the Four Seasons too. So if I was super honest with myself, I love camping, but I got to have like some Four Seasons mixed in. The irony is he ultimately dated a super wealthy woman who would take him to the Four Seasons. So we laugh about this. Actually, my kid's teacher. All three of my kids had him as a teacher. I met him on Bumble before my kids had him. Great guy. So ultimately, he dates a really wealthy woman who's taken him to the Four Seasons. And he's like, it's the best, Katy. I'm like, yeah, isn't it? So, and how do we work through it now? We both see there's a difference in what I make versus what he makes. So I pitch in when I can. I make sure all my own bills are paid. Ladies, that is your job. You pay your own bills. If you are asking him for money to pay your bills, I don't believe in that. He can help you, but if he was to leave you, can you do life on your own finances? You should always be able to do that. So, he should enhance your life, but he shouldn't pay all your bills because you can't either work hard enough or make that. So that's my truth. And I think a lot of guys would agree with that. So ladies, that's on you. And I do a lot of other things. I don't necessarily pay for things, but I make a lot of the plans. So because he's working so hard, I buy little things. I do the grocery shopping. I make all the food, and I'll buy the groceries. I'll buy him coffee. I'll pay for lots of little things throughout, but he's not looking for me to like buy the next house or pitch in half. My finances are mine, his are his. And that's kind of probably where we'll keep it in a sense. He's super generous, which is one thing, ladies. Guys could have lots of money, but not be generous. So look for a generous man. There's a difference in a generous man versus a rich guy. So not that we're gold digging by any means, but generosity is not always described by his numbers in wealth. So we want a generous heart, and we want that person to be generous to other people as well, not just us, but they're generous to their own kids. They're generous to your kids. Like my man will buy my daughter shoes if she helps him with certain things. Like it's just really sweet. They have this like Veja thing. They both wear Vejas, so it's their thing. So the next question, did you break up? Yes, we did multiple times throughout years. It happens. Clarification moments. I'm okay with it. I did a whole podcast on it, podcast 34. We had a trust issue. I was struggling. Do I dump him? Do I not? This is rare. Like what just happened? Go listen to that, because you are going to have speed bumps, roadblocks, and each one needs something different. And really EQ is what matters here. And he's a businessman. He hasn't really mastered his EQ yet. That's okay, ladies. I know you all want Mr. Perfect EQ, emotional quotient. Go listen to that podcast. It's podcast 35. He, in business, you don't have a lot of emotions. You do business, and he does it really well. So when it comes to working through emotions, he's really grown in that area, and I've had to like ask him to kind of grow in that. So that's been, part of it, like stonewalling and understanding all these terminologies. Like give a guy a break. Like if he's 55 and he doesn't know about this, like maybe introduce him, let your feminine nature show and teach him. And guys, be coachable, right? Sometimes you guys get all, teachable, coachable, whatever. Just be like, learn something from her. We should all be learning from each other. How did he ask you to marry him, and did he get on his knees? So before that, I had said to him, babe, I need you to ask my kids for permission to marry me. I don't think he would have thought of that himself. But for me, I think it's really a cute step considering both my parents are passed away. And he finally did. He miraculously got all three of my kids on a FaceTime. They all live all over the world. So I don't know how he did it because time changes in different countries and different continents, believe it or not. He did. And my kids pelted him with questions. So good job, kiddos. They're like, are you going to be able to keep up with my mom and her energy? What are you going to do about church? Are you going to lead her in being a man? And like, they just asked him some great questions. So I love the maturity and the care that my kids made on that. I also recommend that when you are making a big decision on like how to propose to a woman, have a lifeline. Okay. So all men should have a lifeline to their woman. Whether it's her best friend, whether it's her daughter. Like my daughter is my lifeline. She knows me. She gets me. She knows I don't like surprises. She knows my style. She can weave that question into our life. Like, hey mom, like if you ever got engaged, how would you want that? Because you guys want to do it right? I know these men want to do it right, but they don't know what they're doing all the time. So make sure you find a friend that will help you guys out. Get that lifelines, get ideas. And one thing we learned about this whole engagement process and even my last party, I do not like surprises. I do not like being kept in the dark. I don't want to be like, wow, because I love party planning and I love details. So I don't want to show up to something and be like, what is this doing here? Like, this is not me. What? So he did a great job. He did a little picnic. We were in Marco Island. I love warm weather. I had a little white outfit on, although I had a different white outfit that I wanted to wear. And this is why it's important, guys. I call it foreshadowing. So he should have said something like, hey, babe, we're going to have a special weekend. Bring a couple pretty white outfits. Well, I brought like some pants and a cute little white top. Because he didn't say that. He had said, oh, we're not getting engaged this weekend. So I didn't bring my curling iron. I was like, okay, fine. You want to play that game? Fine. And I wasn't prepared. And I'll tell you what, a woman who is unprepared is going to be a little bit pissed. So I had a white dress I wanted to wear when we got engaged. And because he didn't foreshadow, he doesn't have to tell me everything. He doesn't have to pretend it's not happening, but you do like a creative foreshadowing, okay? Super important if your woman does not like surprises, but she likes to be prepared and have it all kind of set out. So So know that moving forward, figure out what your woman likes. Use that lifeline of a friend. People want to know who will move. Nobody's moving. Like, we have 2 houses. This has been working for us. We'll figure it out when we figure it out. Right now, like, I love California, even though the weather's been junk this year. Texas, I like Texas too. We can get a much bigger, better house. I love to entertain, but the weather's not so great. I don't have as many friends there, but I'm open to it. I can make friends easily. So, hey, we'll see. We also went to Florida to look for houses too. So loved Florida. Will you guys do couple therapy? You bet we will. Not only that, we will do personal therapy. I think it's huge. No shame in the therapy game here. I think it's clutch for a good relationship. Figure yourself out and then figure yourselves out together. Will you get a prenup? You bet. I am not marrying him for his money. What he's worked for is his. What's mine is mine. But will I be in his trust? Of course. If he passes when we're married, he's not going to leave me high and dry. We discussed that. Like I always said, I never want to, I don't believe I should get more than his kids. I never want there to be that animosity. So we've had these discussions, and he kind of makes his own decisions. I give my input, but like a prenup shows you care about somebody. Now, if the prenup is like, I'm going to leave you high and dry. I mean, hey, if someone's cheating, then you know what? Maybe you should. I don't know. But, we all should be working for our own personal finances. So I do believe in that. And then lastly, and the honeymoon, you bet. We're doing a quick little one to Cabo, all inclusive, so we don't have to go anywhere to do anything. And then we're doing a whole month long in Italy. And our kids will be coming for pieces of that. So like a family, like our honeymoon and a family honeymoon. So crazy is that. I'm so excited, you guys. I hope that you've learned some things through my relationship. I didn't share it because I'm not a believer. You don't post until you have what I believe a ring on it or some sort of, this is it, this is final, because I never want to unpost. So I know even J-Lo and A-Rod had to unpost each other. So you may have been like, why is she keeping it secret? Well, I'm just keeping it to my heart and to myself. But thanks for listening, you guys. I'm so excited to get married. I will be keeping you posted, and send me your questions, DMs, and subscribe. All right, talk to you soon.